Hello, friends. Welcome back. So today we're talking about somatic experiencing and how to rewire your nervous system to feel safe. If you've been through trauma, right? If you have been through trauma for whatever reason, your nervous system has been rewired for danger. If you lived in an environment where you were not safe, where you were not safe to have your feelings, you were not safe to be yourself, you were not safe to explore, you were not safe to have your own perspective, you weren't safe to make mistakes, you weren't even safe to be happy, then your nervous system learns that life is dangerous. Everything is dangerous. And it starts to be on high alert all the time. So many people that are battling complex PTSD have nervous systems that are so hypervigilant. If people could see what goes on inside of our minds when we're trying to do just normal, everyday, regular things, it would be like mental gymnastics or mental parkour just to get from point A to point B. That's what it feels like inside the body of somebody that's going through Cptsd and is trying to get their nervous system under control. And it's fall, so I got to break out my sweater, the fist pump. Anyway, little ADD kicking in. So basically, when your nervous system has been hardwired for danger, which, first of all, the trauma hardwires it, on top of the fact that our nervous system is biased towards the negative to begin with. So it almost like cements it into our DNA that there's danger. And in our younger years, that was a good thing. Like, we didn't have the emotional maturity to know how to handle the trauma that we were undergoing. So the nervous system kicked on and it helped us out. It gave us all these coping skills, including hypervigilance, where you were alert to what other people needed. Often that's where we get our empathic abilities, right? Because we had to survive. We had to know what somebody was thinking and feeling for our own survival sake. So your nervous system did all those things to help you when you were a child. The problem is that you grow, you get older, right? The years pass, you outgrow your clothes, but your nervous system stays intact with how it was until you upgrade it. So you become an adult living under the same or with the same nervous system that was rewired in childhood. And when I talk about rewiring the body to feel safe, I'm talking about after we've left toxic relationships, toxic family members, toxic work environments, whatever situation was creating emotional damage. Once that's done and you're gone and you want to rewire the body, the reality cognitively, logically is that you no longer are in danger. But the nervous system is still acting as if you are. And that's the problem. That's the problem. And your nervous system can take over your life. If you want to think that you're in control of your life, you compare you to your nervous system, you cannot do anything unless your nervous system says it's safe to do so. Because the second you go to try, if you don't believe me, you will feel such discomfort, so much anxiety. You will develop phobias. Things will happen because your nervous system is on a different page than you. So healing is about getting you, your conscious self that wants to live your life as who you really are, that wants to create an amazing life, together with your nervous system, your unconscious, your subconscious mind together, so you can move forward. And somatic experiencing is an awesome, awesome way to do that, because you can't think your way through trauma. You can't logically work through a feeling, because words and feelings, they're two separate things. Yes, they are very much interlinked, and yes, they go together, but we can't work through a feeling with words only. We have to bring our emotions on board, and that's where somatic experiencing is super helpful. So in this particular video, I kind of wanted to answer a question that somebody put up underneath my video entitled "How to Rewire the Body to Feel Safe After Emotional Abuse." And I'll leave the link here in case you haven't seen it. But in that video, I talk about one of the exercises that we do in somatic experiencing. We pendulate and we titrate. where we go from one area of the body that feels okay to another area of the body that feels activated. And somebody put in that underneath that video, and I want to read her comment. So shout out to you, Mallory. She said, sorry if this is dumb, but what do you mean by part of the body that feels okay? Okay isn't safe. How can just my feet feel safe when the rest of me doesn't? So definitely not a dumb question. It's something that we have to understand, because the reality is that when you've been through trauma, all you feel is unsafe. The thought that there can be two things coexisting inside of you, it's almost like your nervous system can't wrap its mind around that. And the reason is because the nervous system is biased to the negative. Now, if you don't believe me, imagine if you take the same route to work every day for 3 years, right? You go to work every day, you take the same road every day, and then one day you get into an accident on one of those roads. From that moment forward, when you're on that road, you're not going to be thinking about the hundreds or thousands of times you've traveled down that road and were safe. No, your brain's going to bring up the one time you had an accident, because it is biased to the negative. So you combine that with the fact that trauma imprints your nervous system that you really aren't safe. And that combination together creates a hyper-vigilant nervous system that doesn't know how to chill. It doesn't know how to relax. And consciously, you might be able to tell your body, I'm okay, I'm safe. But it's almost like, to the nervous system, it's almost like you're talking Chinese, like it doesn't understand you. And so it keeps giving you anxiety. It keeps giving you the hormones, the adrenaline, the cortisol that are wreaking havoc on your health, on your happiness, on your ability to feel okay. So that's what happens with a hypervigilant nervous system. Now, here's the hard part to understand. And this is something I wish I knew, because I feel like I prolonged my own healing journey because I didn't understand this. I thought, okay, well, I cleaned up my life. I changed some things around. I should be okay now. And time will fix everything else. And it didn't. And the phobias, the anxieties, the panic attacks didn't just go away because certain people were gone or certain circumstances changed. You really have to go in and do the inner work to help your nervous system to get upgraded. Our phone is simple. We hit a button, we update it. Our subconscious mind, which is BFFs with our nervous system, it's not so simple. Okay, but there are things that help. And so that's what I was sharing in the other video, the pendulation and the titration exercise. However, before even getting to that point, you want to start helping your body to have a resource. So again, the nervous system is hypervigilant to danger, right? But the danger isn't in the present moment. It's something that happened, and maybe something can happen in the future, but in the present moment, there isn't danger. But the nervous system can't seem to understand that on its own. And that's where it's helpful to take a minute. Sometimes in Thrivers and Thriver School of Transformation, which is a monthly membership where we meet weekly and we do all of this together. But oftentimes I'll either tell the members to close their eyes if they feel comfortable, right? To go within and be in their body, or to find a soft focus. You can do it either way. If the thought of being in your body freaks you out, then sometimes having an external resource is helpful, because you don't want to overload the nervous system, because then you re-traumatize yourself. And then the nervous system loves that, because it's like, see, you can't relax. It's too dangerous. So we want to find ways to slowly and calmly be able to update and upgrade the nervous system. So when you close your eyes, or when you find something that you can give yourself a soft focus, kind of be a witness inside of your body, just noticing what's there without judgment. When you do, sometimes the first thing you'll notice, if you've never done this before, is activation, which means you'll feel a tightness in your chest. You'll feel fear. You'll feel anxiety, and you'll want to jump out of your body, especially if you're new to doing this. So again, you don't want to force yourself. Start with an external resource. But the purpose is to start showing your nervous system that in this moment, you are okay. You have to teach your nervous system that. You see, the parts of our brain that store trauma, there's no time there. So if you're thinking about something that happened in the past that was very traumatic and you feel the sensation come up in your body, to your nervous system, it's as if it's happening right now. And so that's why that sense of unsafety or that lack of safety is there. And it's so intense because in your brain, to your brain, it is happening right now, even if it's not. So by practicing how to resource, it's like you're helping your body to have one foot in the past, to acknowledge what happened, to be able to see it, to be able to slowly talk about it, to be able to process it with one foot in the present as well. If we can't have one foot in the present as well, and we're overly in the past, our brain isn't going to be able to process it because the left side of our brain is going to check out. In a brain scan, they have found that when you are having an emotional flashback, which means an emotion from the past that's coming up and overloading you, causes the brain, the left side of the brain, to just go black. And the right side, the emotional side, is lit up like fireworks. You can't process trauma and pain from just your right side of your brain. You need both online. And that's why resourcing is so powerful. So in the beginning, it feels really hard. And I've had clients tell me, Michelle, I feel resistant, like my body doesn't want to find a safe place. And that's something that trauma creates as well, right? Because safe can sometimes be a trigger. Because especially with, for example, narcissistic parents or parents with addictions, you never know what's going to happen. Oftentimes, the moment you were safe or felt relaxed or even happy was the moment something bad happened. And so your nervous system has that imprinted, like safe is scary. So the way we do that is by looking for that place in our body that feels okay. Now, activation tends to be in this area of our body. So sometimes focusing on your feet can be helpful. Your hands can be helpful. Just your pinky. It doesn't matter how small. But when you can find a place that feels okay, and it can take practice, what you're helping your nervous system to realize is that, yes, you've been through trauma, and yes, there are things that have happened, but in this moment, you are okay. And once you can help yourself have that felt sense, that even a micro moment of feeling safe starts to build a new pathway towards, I can be safe in my body. I can feel okay. I can be present in the moment. And then it's something we build on. We have to teach our nervous system this. It's not going to do it on its own. And it's not going to do it when you learn about it. It's actually through the exercises that we start retraining our nervous system. So the first step really is about establishing a felt sense of safety in your body, practicing on a daily basis. It can be, again, finding a place in your body. It could be something in your room that you look at. So right now I have my shades closed. I don't know why, but normally they're open, and I love looking outside. So looking at nature, looking at the plants, listening to the birds. That's something that when you allow yourself to just notice and be present with that helps you to have that felt sense of okayness. It could be really thinking about what it's like to have somebody that loves you. Like if there's somebody in your life that is very dear to you, that treats you well, that cherishes you, real, imagined, or a spiritual person, then imagining them there next to you can help your nervous system to taste that felt sense of safety. And then if you do that every day, 2 minutes a day, and then obviously trying to do it periodically throughout the day, you are now rewiring your body so that the trauma doesn't stay and keep you stuck forever. If you're struggling with this on your own, please remember that we have the Thriver School of Transformation. It's a monthly membership. It's $79.99, and there are 9 to 12 live meetings every month. and we do the inner work together. We do the exercises together. We talk about it together so that you don't have to do this alone.